Hi, this morning I watched Bird Box Barcelona, a spin off from the 2019, I think, sci fi horror drama starring Sandra Bullock. That film was about the Earth suddenly coming under the influence of some kind of creature that if you see it, you immediately go insane and try and kill yourself, or try to force others to watch and look at the creatures themselves so that they kill themselves or become part of the converted. The first film followed a group of unlikely survivors who'd barricaded themselves in the nearest house at the outbreak of the crisis, and then having to live together and struggle to survive in this new environment. This spin off is set, as the title suggests, in Barcelona, and it's largely in Spanish, although there are also German and English language speaking characters. And we focus on one main character who gets involved with a group trying to find some kind of shelter, even though he has secrets of his own. And as they make their way through the city, fending off various dangers, as well as the creatures themselves, whatever they may be. I thought this film was dreadful. The central premise is very hard to talk about without lapsing into spoilers. And I don't think this film is worth spoiling. It's not worth treating with that level of dignity. Um, it, it feels like it's open and shut within the first 20 minutes. You could almost stop the film there, and that would be it. Um, as it goes on, it tries to explain more of the backstory and of how these creatures function. That people see what they want to see in some way that they have become so overwhelmed with grief that they immediately kill themselves, except obviously some of them don't. And the more it tries to explain events and rationalize them, the more it ties itself in knots, the more ridiculous it seems. It becomes very predictable about halfway through, as you can tell where the characterization is going to go and where the plot's going to go. It seems to, towards the end, run on pure cliche and even a bit of ludicrous sentimentality towards the end. It's quite poorly directed. There are a lot of strange use choices of shooting and editing that didn't really work. There's bits that were supposed to be scary or shocking that wound up being funny. Um, it's really quite incompetently made and doesn't do anything to justify its own existence. I thought it was particularly strange given that the first one was based on a novel by Josh Malerman, and there is already a second novel. So why not simply adapt that as source material rather than write an original script, which has nothing to do with the original apart from being a spin-off with the same basic concept, but mangle it to such a bizarre extent? Um, it's the worst film I've seen this year. It's an absolute dog's breakfast of a movie. Um, Badly directed, badly written. It decides to have this within this group of characters, three different languages spoken, and yet everyone seems to understand each other, apart from one small girl who only speaks German. Um, our main character, who is Spanish, also speaks German, so we have some very poorly accented German spoken. Although there is at least a caveat at the start that's where he explains that he does actually have a thick Spanish accent when he speaks, but it still sounds very poor. Um, it's a bad movie. It never justifies its own existence. There's no reason to watch it, and you shouldn't.